just take a cheap shot. We're taking a bunch of cheap shots at Twilight. I mean, don't call me because I don't know how to make movies. But call me if you're going to make one and you want to tell me about it. And it's such a dumb thing to have a pet peeve over. But it is. Okay, moving on. Hello. Welcome to my channel. My name's Ashley. Today I'm doing the tag video, Totally Shoulda book tag. This was started by Emma Books, link below, in response to the original book tag, Totally Didn't book tag, started by Like Wildfire. So, let's get into it, shall we? Question number 1. Totally should have gotten a sequel. A book that didn't get a sequel that should have gotten a sequel. I read a lot of sequels, so I'm trying to think of a standalone novel. Ooh, I'm gonna say The Book Thief. I really want to know more about that world, and I feel like I should have gotten a sequel, although I feel like a sequel would have been really hard to pull off with that book. It ended in a very satisfying way. I just want more of that world, but I don't know that a sequel could be done well, which is maybe why it doesn't have a sequel. Boom. Question 1 down. Question number 2. Totally should have had a spin-off series. Oh, following a different character? Oh, you know what? I have an easy answer for this. And maybe this has already happened and I'll be really excited about it. But I feel like Kelsier in the Mistborn trilogy should have had his own series. Because I love Kelsier a lot, because he's the mentor character. And I love him. And I also have heard that the 11th Metal, one of Brandon Sanderson's short stories, follows Kelsier a little bit. So maybe, I don't know that we call it a spin-off series though, because I think it's only a short novel. But I mean, I would read a lot of books about Kelsier if they were written well by Brandon Sanderson. So I would like Kelsier to have his own spin-off series. And I'm not going to say spoilers, but if you know what I'm talking about, then that thing that happened, that thing would not happen, because spin-off series, and he would, no spoilers. Okay, here we go, done. Okay, question number 3. An author who should totally write more books. Lani Taylor, who wrote Strange the Dreamer, that series, and then the Daughters Smoke trilogy. She's written 5 books. I've loved everything she's written, and she's only written 5 books. And I keep checking to see if she's written more books yet, and the answer is no. And I want more books. I want more books. And I'm waiting patiently, and it's not patiently enough because there still are no more books. So, yes. Question number 4. A character who should have totally ended up with someone else. Bella from Twilight. She should have ended up with Jacob. Because Edward is terrible. I would say he's a terrible human being, but he's a vampire, so he's a terrible vampire. But it just doesn't have the same effect and thrill as saying he's a terrible human being as saying he's a terrible vampire. Like, it just doesn't have the same effect. But he's a terrible whatever he is. Everybody says Bella is a piece of cardboard, and I disagree with that. I think she was emotionally neglected. So I think that there is a lot more going on beneath the surface, and I also feel like Stephanie Meyers didn't really tap into that very much, but I still feel like she deserved to have ended up with someone who would have made her happy, and that person was not Edward. Question number 5. Which book should have totally had a movie franchise? I'm going to say Illuminae, that series. Illuminae, Gemina, and Obsidio. These would have made amazing movies. Because they made amazing movies in my head. I love this series. And I am hoping for a great movie adaptation. So, I mean, don't call me because I don't know how to make movies. But call me if you're going to make one and you want to tell me about it. So, question number 6. Totally should have had a TV show. Harry Potter. The entire Harry Potter series should not have been a movie franchise. It should have been a TV show so that it could be 15 seasons long and we could have gotten everything covered. Like, everything. Right. And Peeves. Peeves deserves to have some airtime, okay? Peeves. Someday I hope they remake Harry Potter as a TV show. And I hope they do it well. because I will obsessively watch that. The end. Okay, question number 7. Totally should have had only one point of view. How about we just list off a bunch, shall we? The Bloodline series by Rochelle Mead. Adrian gets his own viewpoint. Okay, no, I'm gonna have to clarify my answer a little bit more. Whatever number of viewpoints you have at the beginning of the novel, I want you to have the same number of viewpoints at the end of the novel. Adrian gets his own viewpoint starting in book 3, I think. And then he gets the rest of the series. And if you're going to do that, you should have started out with Adrian getting his own viewpoint at the beginning of the novel series. So that one. Divergent didn't need 4's viewpoint in book 3 at all. We just didn't. We didn't need Jacob's viewpoint in Breaking Dawn. I mean, if you're going to toggle between viewpoints, maybe you should write in third person. I don't know why this is such a pet peeve of mine. I don't know why I'm so burned off of books jumping between characters like this. I just feel like it's cheating. Like, if you all of a sudden realize you can't tell the story the way you need to tell it and you have to start adding stuff in, then like maybe you should have planned more in advance. That's my thought. And I don't think that's necessarily a fair thought. And I know that there was probably some book that burned me off, but I don't know what book that was or when this happened. It's just... I just always have been bothered when you just start adding viewpoints in. That is a huge pet peeve of mine. And it's such a dumb thing to have a pet peeve over. But it is. Okay, moving on. Totally should have a cover change. That's question number 7. What book should totally have a cover change? I feel like The Hunger Games could have had better cover. Like, it's an okay cover. But I feel like we could do better, okay? The Mockingjay symbol is cool, but like, I feel like the cover change for that could be pretty phenomenal. Question number 9, should totally have kept the original covers. I don't pay enough attention to books to know what the original covers are, because I feel like if you're going to rebrand the cover, then you're going to pick one that's more marketable and the one that will sell better, and like, great for you. Great for the marketing company, great for the publishing company, great for the author. Yeah. But also I don't know enough to really be able to comment, so. And the last question number 10. Totally should have stopped at one book. What book? Only needed one book. Probably Twilight. Let's take a cheap shot. We're taking a bunch of cheap shots at Twilight. What else? Ooh, I have an answer for this. So One of Us is Lying is the first book by Karen M. McManus, and I loved that book. And then the sequel, One of Us is Next by Karen M. McManus, I felt like was such a letdown. It just felt like a copy and paste of the first novel, but less well done. And I didn't feel like we needed to explore more from those characters. I liked the other books that she's written, and I'm really excited for her next book, The Cousins, which is coming out. Well, I think it's already out, and I'm waiting for it at the library. But the second book in the One of Us is Lying series, just, I wasn't impressed by it. And I feel like we could have stopped at one book and been totally fine. So, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't a bad book. It just wasn't as good as the first one. And I was really disappointed because my standards, I guess. I was expecting a lot. And then her other book about the prom queens. The narration for this book, I didn't appreciate at all. But the book itself was really good. But yeah, One of Us is Next. We didn't need that book. Which just, I mean, if you like more of the same, then maybe you would love that book. It's hard to say. I just didn't. And that's all I have to say. So I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.